Roger, thanks for dropping by. The video I never thought I'd have to make, but call it testing the water, because that's what it is. I'm not committing to any of this, but before we start, a bit of mum news. I was misled. Okay, my sister's in a bit of a state, and a slight miswording in a text is misinterpreted. When she said my mum's kidneys had completely failed, that basically was the wrong end of the stick. They are failing at a dramatic rate. That's not the same thing. So our end may not be as imminent, perhaps, as we first thought, but nonetheless the hospital have entered end-of-life care. Well, they don't do that for that long, do they? They need the bed, you know what they're like. So, we're going to end up in the same place. All we're talking about is when. So, that's still to come. They've moved her to another ward where the visiting restrictions have kicked back in. So whereas I was going to go and visit, along with my sister, they now only allow one visit a day, one visitor for 1 hour. So I'm quite low on the list, quite honestly. So anyway, that's that. But testing the water. I've just posted for the first time ever in my community tab, which I know naff all about. I've had a quick read. I've been doing a bit of reading up on some of these things. Not a lot, just enough to give me an outline. And it is said, it is written, that the community tab helps a YouTuber stay more engaged with the people that follow their channel. It seems to be mainly geared up to people who can't create a video that often, but can stick a post up, perhaps with a couple of photos, or just say hi and do a little brief outline of what they've been up to. So it allows a text post, it allows photographs, which is a bit daft as a YouTube video, isn't it? Posting a video of photographs, but I've seen it done. I mean, I include photographs in my videos, include them within, but not make a video of just photographs. But the community tab also has another option, the vote, and I've set one up. It's got 4 options. There's only 2 options really, but they're the main things I want to talk about. But the other 2 options are choosing both or neither, so that makes 4. Basically, I don't use that tab because I do post virtually every day, and it seems to be for those who can't post the frequent videos, more for those sort of people anyway. There's no reason for not doing both, So the one thing I don't know about it is if I stick something on the community tab, do you get notified? Does the notification process work? That I don't know. I presume it does. Otherwise you'd be talking to yourself, wouldn't you? People would have to go and look to see if there's anything there, which seems that people wouldn't, would they? You wouldn't bother. So that's that. That's the community tab. On to the vote. The vote's got Patreon and membership. Yeah? Both are options that I can do. I could do both. Now, both of those require a fee, like a regular payment to the channel to help with its expenditure and stuff like that. And as I've tried to explain, I've got a lot of that coming up. And looking at getting a place where all this can continue, I can't really afford. It would be cutting it. I'd have to start thinking, when I do my food shopping, no, I can't afford that. No, I can't have that. No, we'll have to go for the cheaper option. It's going to be a bit like that. It's going to be incredibly tight, because something I didn't realise, when you see the rent for a place, you expect to pay your energy bills, don't you? And your water bill and stuff like that. You've got to pay your council tax as well, as the renter. That's a lot of money on top of the rent. You know, that takes it from around 800 quid up near 1,000. 1,000 quid a month out of my money leaves me short. So somehow or other I've got to try and get some more income. And I ain't going to work, not at my age. So I look at the venue that I've got that I think of as my work. Because I think of my orchids is my hobby and my YouTube channel is my work, which is why I do something every day. It's like my job. That's the way I see it in my mind. And at the moment, the adverts on the channel is my income that comes from it. But, you know, looking at these other two options, there are other ways to get some income. Now, Patreon, I'm not sure what you get. You're effectively donating to the channel. But I haven't looked into enough detail to find out if you get something back for it. Like, do you get some special privileges or something like that? Now, membership you do. Because as a member, you're effectively getting like your own little side channel with videos that only members can see, live broadcasts that only members can join in with. So you're getting something back. You can even get a little badge so that when you post a comment, everybody knows you're a member, that sort of thing. So membership is that. But I begrudge fees when they're excessive. Now with membership, whatever the charge is for the membership, I get 70%. That means 30% is going to others, like YouTube, etc. And that's a lot. Nonetheless, I still get what's left, you know. So the Patreon is like a separate entity. It's run outside. It's a sort of separate thing to YouTube. And the fees on there don't look too bad. You know, they're a percentage of each, well, effectively Patreon are donations, which you can do a one-off or set up as a regular thing. But from my point of view, standing back, the Patreon thing, if I can't give you something special, something separate, then you're just paying to see what you could see anyway. You're not getting anything back for it. So you're not quite so keen on that. Whereas the membership, you can have goodies that non-members can't have, don't get, all that sort of stuff. So I sort of see that as a bit more, you know, you're getting something. But anyway, I've set up a poll in the community tab to say, would you be willing to join in with, you know, being a patron or being a member, and then you get neither or both. So there's 4 options on there. I'll let that run for a while. This is Zaina's fault. She said she put a comment in and suggested Patreon, and the only time I've ever seen anybody who pushed that was who remembers Oliver and his weird and wonderful orchids that he had, and his very technical channel. A very technically minded man, and 3/4 of the orchids he had I'd never heard of. He had some very obscure orchids. Oh, goodness knows where he got them from. But he had to abandon his channel completely. So he was lost. But yeah, I remember him having it. I think Brad's greenhouse, he's got that up and running. But it doesn't seem to kick you in the face. I mean, when I'm watching other people's videos, it's not shouting at me that loads of people are doing that. But as I said, from what I can see in my brief little read up this morning, it does seem to be just a donation feature, you know, which you can do one-offs or regular donations, but I'm not sure I can provide something back for it over and above what the channel already does, if you see what I mean. Whereas the membership, the members pay some money in and get something back for it. It seems like you've got something for your money, but then the fees are excessive. So those are the 2 practical options using the tools. Yeah? Now how about this? I've always said you will never get adverts in the middle of my videos. That's why I never thought I'd made this video. Reading up on the mid-roll ads, this is from YouTube and from other people writing about making the change, you can double or treble your income from adverts by including it. That's a lot. Now, I don't even know if it will be practical, but when I set up a video, if it's too short, I don't get any choices. They're taken away from me. YouTube decides where the ads are going to go and what sort they are on the really short videos. Once you get up to a reasonable length video, I get choices. And I get choices of before, mid-roll and after. And I always uncheck mid-roll so that there are before and after. There's two other choices that I've never taken any notice of. And they're tick boxes, so you can choose both one or the other. It'd be daft to choose neither. But it's skippable ads and non-skippable ads. Now, I leave those both ticked, which means YouTube chooses, which means sometimes you might get a non-skippable ad on the front of a video that's 2 minutes long. So you'd have to come out and go back in again to get out of that, or you end up thinking, I'm not bloody waiting 2 minutes to see the video, and you just don't watch it, which is awful. So what about a trial period of letting the mid-roll ads run but unchecking non-skippable ads, so that the only adverts that appear on my videos are skippable. So if you get one in the middle, you can skip straight out of it. What about trying that? And obviously I've explained before the way the adverts work. You need to watch the adverts for anybody to get paid. That's, YouTube and me. The adverts have to be watched. If they're skipped, then nobody gets any money. There's no point in an advertiser paying YouTube to place their ads and then them not being watched. That serves no purpose. Yeah, so they need to be watched for things to happen. So for a trial period, we'll try allowing those mid-roll ads but unchecking the non-skippable ads, so that all of the ads on my channel are skippable. That way people can choose to watch them or not, and if you watch them, obviously, some pennies come my way. And I still wouldn't expect anybody to watch an advert that's longer than 30 seconds, because your life is wasting away there. I won't watch ads longer than that. Unless it's an ad I really want to see. That's about once in a blue moon. Yeah, that don't happen often. They're imposed on me. But anyway, so that's another trial I will see, because my income from YouTube is relatively static. It's dropped down quite a bit. The way YouTube's working now with the lockdown and the follow-on from it, it's steady but lower than it used to be. And a lot of channels, I'm told, because my daughter watches an awful lot of stuff, and she said there's a lot of channels that have ground to a halt. Channels that were growing steadily have just stopped growing, and basically during lockdown the whole of YouTube is just flooded with new YouTubers, and there's almost too much choice. So channels aren't getting watched when they used to be, because they were, out of this particular niche there were a dozen channels. Now there's 200. Yeah, so YouTube's changed because of the lockdowns and because of the virus. Anyway, have a look at the community tab and do your vote. Would you take part in either of those two choices, or even both, or none? Those are your choices in there, and I'll let that run for a week or so, and I'll have a reminder every now and again. And the other thing I can ask is just, the simple thing, like everybody else says on their videos. If you're not subscribed, think about doing so. It all helps the channel grow, and the more the channel grows, the bigger all these things get. So you have a go at that. I think most people, they start watching a video, most people hit the like, some people hit the dislike. I can't see why you would you know what my videos are like. Can't see why you'd keep watching them and hitting the dislike all the time. It does seem illogical, but anyway, so that's my idea. Is I can set up Patreon, and you become a patron to the channel. I can set up membership, and then you join. There'll be a join button that you know on the channel. You can click join. I know quite a few others have done that. That's something that quite a lot of people have done. Perhaps they don't know what the fees are. But if I go down that route, I have to accept the fees. You don't get a say in it. So, I mean, I don't get a say. If you think the revenue I get from the adverts, I don't get a say in it. The advertisers pay money to YouTube. YouTube takes a great big chunk of that, and you get the bit that's left. And it's not a lot compared with what the advertisers are paying. YouTube take most of it, quite honestly. So, we do all the work. The creators, we do all the work, put all the effort in. And YouTube, for providing the platform for us to enable us to do it, take a large amount of money and are worth billions. Anyway, that's the ideas. Have a look at the community channel and join in the vote, the poll. So I haven't done one of them for ages. I think the last time I did one of them, it was allowed, on the channel, whereas now I think it's been removed. You can only do it on the community tab. So you can have a play with that. And in addition to that, comments on would you put up with skippable ads within the videos. I don't know how frequent they'll be. I know on the more popular channels, the ones with millions of subscribers and stuff like that, you'll get an ad every 20 seconds. To the point where it becomes so annoying that you think you'll go for premium. Now there's another option that maybe some of you haven't thought about. If you become a premium subscriber to YouTube, you don't ever see an advert again. But the creators still get some money. There's some sort of apportionment algorithm that basically, works it out such that the creators get some money for premium members. So YouTube get the money from the premium membership, so you pay YouTube direct to become that type of member, and then YouTube apportion that amongst the creators somehow. I don't want to know. That's beyond me. I missed out actually. My daughter pays next to nothing for premium membership because she's got part of the family membership. And there's so many allowed in a family membership where you pay one fee, which is higher, but lots of people can join in. And it's full. I can't get in on it. Anyway, a few things to think about. Putting up with the mid-roll ads that are skippable. I'll make sure that they're skippable. And Patreon, a sort of donations type thing, I suppose you'd call it. And the one thing I will do is that those other two options, the membership and or Patreon thing, depending on what I decide to do, depending what your views are, I will try and do my best to actually keep that separate, totally separate, so that when the move actually comes round to taking place, you have to bear in mind it's at least 3 months away, even if the end comes today. It's going to take 3 months for this house to be sorted out. And that's only if we get control and ownership of the property immediately. And that's not going to happen either. So it's quite a long way off. Nonetheless, there is an inevitability about it. So what I thought I'd do is I keep all that extra income totally separate so that I know how much has come in, which is basically for the channel. So any expenditure that has to be done to keep the channel going, and there will be some. There may be some extra kit required and setups and all sorts of things. So I try and keep it separate. And then I can let you know that, oh, this was bought using the so-and-so money, not out of Roger's pocket money. So anyway, that's my ideas, sparked off by Zaina. And thanks for that, because it had been in my mind, but it got thrown to the back with everything else that's going on, quite honestly. So it's come to the front. So Patreon, membership, and mid-roll ads that are skippable. And if I say skippable ads only, that also applies to the ones on the front and the back. Whereas before, YouTube would have chosen either, and you could have got two non-skippable ones on the front of the video, whereas now you won't ever get a non-skippable one if I throw that switch. And quite honestly, I'm going to start now. So when I post this video, it will be the first one that I've actually said I will allow mid-roll ads, and you should only see skippable ads. You'll have to let me know if it works. I know on occasions I've posted a video and I've forgotten to untick that box, and it comes up in the comments quite quickly. There's adverts in your video, Roger. And I can go and switch it off, you know. So it is a switchable thing. Yeah, we'll give it a go. And please say what you think. You know, it's keeping a channel going for me is not hard work. Don't get that impression that it's hard work. For me, it's not. I find rabbiting to a camera, bit of waffle, I find that a relatively easy thing to do. It's like Hannah was saying, there's an awful lot of people struggle a hell of a lot and have to do take after take, retakes, sometimes even writing down what they're going to say because they keep forgetting. And you know, some people have a lot more trouble with that. I don't. You know, I'm a chatterbox basically. So I find it I mean, obviously you have to have content. You know, without this orchid collection, I wouldn't have anything to talk about, would I? So you know, and the orchid collection's got to be maintained, and depending on where I end up, we could end up allowing it to grow because I've got a better space. I could end up having to get rid of some of it because I've got a smaller space. But this is down the line, quite a way down the line. So anyway, say what you think, and do say what you think. Don't be polite. If you think these are lousy, you know, money-grabbing schemes, say so. You know, I mean, as I said, I'd like to keep it separate so that it goes into the channel in some shape or form. I don't even know what shape or form yet. It might be to actually build a conservatory, but I could only do that if I owned the property, and that's... Oh, by the way, people who've thought, I see your point, why don't you buy out your siblings? If I had the money to buy them out, don't you think I'd go and buy my own house? I haven't got that sort of money. If I had, I'd already be in my own house, wouldn't I? So, yeah. So, there we go. Have a think about it. Say what you think. And do have a go at the poll, you know, especially if you haven't done that sort of thing. And if you've never been down the community tab route, when you go into mine, there's nothing in there apart from that, because I just put it in this morning. But, you know, logically I should have an introduction video in there, you know, and some other posts, like, you know, whatever. Suggestions for that as well. See you next time. Thanks for dropping by.